Welcome back to Fenrir Canine Training. On today's video, we're going to be answering some more of your questions to help you become high-level canine leaders that raise perfect canine companions. So, welcome back. If you are new here, my name's Will. I'm a canine behaviourist and I'm the founder of FenrirCanineLeaders.com. This is my wonderful wife, Rachel, and you guys have been sending her your Q&As over on Instagram. She's been collating them and is going to pick some at random to ask me today to hopefully be able to help you guys out on your journey to a perfect canine companion. So, without further ado, let's dive straight into the very first question.
Okay, so this one's quite specific, so I'll read you the whole thing.
Okie dokie.
So it's, hi, my family just got a Corso Rottweiler puppy and we're really enjoying her. We've been watching your videos and they've got the perfect puppy course. The question is, sometimes during obedience training or otherwise, she chooses to ignore commands completely. Do you have any hints? FYI, we're a family of 6, so there's lots of people in the house. Thanks for great online content.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you supporting us with the perfect puppy course. There's a reason that I talk so much about being calm, patient, consistent leaders, and I think if you've doing the perfect puppy course, I would suggest potentially going back and watching some of those earlier modules where we kind of give more of the theory and the overview and the principles of why we do what we do. And I talk a lot about the importance of setting our dogs up for success. And how I do it is that we teach you how to build a foundation layer in a distractionless environment to get to a point with your dogs. So there's 2 issues that could be happening, by the way. This is the first one. Is that you need to get to a point with your dog in a distractionless environment where you teach them the fundamentals and the foundation layer. Once they have that, 0 distractions. Ideally do it before a meal time where they're hungry, so they're eager to work because they want something to eat. Ideally you've given them some exercise so they're not kind of pent up energy. So they should be nice and calm, relaxed, hungry, no distractions, and then we build that foundation layer. And then very slowly we build up on that distraction layer, and that can be different, that foundation layer, that can be different distractions. It can be adding in time, it can be adding in space, it can be adding in going and doing it in different locations, bringing in different people in a very busy, large family environment, getting other people to then come in and pick that up and run with it. But it's about consistency and patience. So there's a good chance that maybe you are rushing things too soon and you're setting your dog up to fail, and then you're creating this issue, and then that very quickly devolves into some quite serious problems. What we want to do is slow right down and set our dog up for success, so then we can praise and reward that success. So that would be what I'd recommend, is bring it back to that foundation layer and then slowly build up on it, because you might just be rushing things. That would be one concern that I would have. The second concern being that the dog very much understands, and we don't know, they didn't mention how young the puppy was, did they?
No.
So the dog could be in a situation, maybe if it's going into its teenage years, 6, 8, 9, up to 12 months old, that there's been a breakdown with your relationship and the dog is testing boundaries and choosing to ignore what it is that you've asked of it, which means that there is a issue with your relationship, and that there's a breakdown there, and the dog isn't seeing you as a calm, consistent leader who it must follow guidance and direction from all of the time. So it's either one or the other, or a combination of both. So my advice is to strip it back to basics and build back up slowly, and then also make sure that we're always focusing on that relationship with the dog, so that it sees us as the leader, it looks to us for guidance and direction. And because we do this in a positive way, we do promote a balanced approach, but it's highly positive because we want to build a positive relationship so that the dog is eager to work. And with a Rottweiler, a Rottie should be a joy to work with and is really eager to work with you, because that's what they were bred for. So we want to be able to tap into that to be able to achieve success. So strip it back, be patient, be calm, be consistent, and slowly build up on it, setting the dog up for success, praising and rewarding that success, and then slowly increasing it a little bit at a time is my main kind of bit of advice. And just be patient, because it's still a puppy, and these are all part of the challenge of raising puppies. If it was easy, there'd be no dogs in shelters or put down.
And also, I was going to sort of ask you as well, you recommend that it's one person who does the training at first, so I wonder whether it's not necessarily you that's being ignored, but your children perhaps.
Yeah.
And in that case, what do you...
So this is really difficult to manage, and it's one of the hardest parts of raising a puppy with children, especially younger children, that it's difficult to really communicate the theory behind why we're doing what we're doing. But yes, I recommend that there's a lead trainer in the dog's life. Everybody in the dog's life needs to be its calm, consistent leader, but when we're building that foundation layer, I recommend that one person takes ownership of that, and then as part of that building up slowly, as you bring the other people in the home to then start utilising that command or whatever it is that we've taught them, which would be the children. So even if you can do it at a higher distraction level, maybe the dog's ignoring the children, so maybe they need to bring it back to that distractionless level and do it at that stage to be able to reinforce and build the relationship between the children and the dog, as well as yourselves and the dog. So yeah, it's one of those areas where there's lots to that, and piecing together the puzzle, which is why in my Perfect Puppy course I put so much emphasis on that theory and the overarching principles, because you have to be able to adapt it. So again, my recommendation first and foremost is to go back and watch those early modules and really refresh yourself on those and absorb that and see where you're going wrong, because it will be in there somewhere in terms of your leadership, because it's always our leadership. We just need to work out what that is and then overcome it and move forward. Awesome. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Cool. I hope that helped.
I think I had one.
I find it difficult when those questions aren't a super clear, do this, this and this, and it's problem solved. But I try and hopefully give enough information to kind of piece it all together.
So this is kind of a similar question, sort of following on probably like the next few stages on. And that is, my puppy's very good at taking commands whilst I'm doing the training, but how do I get her to do it all the time?
Okay. So that, again, goes back to it. So that when you, especially if you're following my Perfect Puppy course, we, as part of our routine and our structure, we dedicate time to doing the obedience work. And remember the idea, always going back to the theory of why it is that we do what we're doing, as opposed to worrying about simply what it is we're doing. But those training sessions are to build that fundamental foundation block. Once we've got that fundamental foundation block, we then need to slowly start layering it up so that we can use it day to day and throughout the dog's life. So again, this is another area. So I always talk about obedience, manners, and socialization. It's like one of those Venn diagrams. You can't have a perfect dog unless you've got all of them, and it's that middle sweet spot where it's perfection, is that you should be utilizing your obedience work for the wider picture of manners and socialization, in particular manners. So if you're able to do a nice sit and stay in your obedience sessions, well, you should now be utilising that sit and stay at meal times. The dog should go into a sit and stay if you want it to come up on the sofa. It should go into a sit and stay for access to anything good in its life, because that is why we teach commands. We don't teach commands because it's cute and you can show off, and I'm not a big fan of that myself. I teach commands because I want my dogs to be under control and well-mannered at all times. So the idea is that during those obedience sessions, we're building that foundation block so that we can then transfer it elsewhere. The problem is you can't just do it here, distractionless environment, walk into heel, sit and stay, and then go to Times Square and think you can do it there. That has to be a gradual process. So if you found that you're here and you're having difficulty and the dog's ignoring you, well, then you've pushed too far too soon. So we need to come back within the dog's comfort zone and then slowly start to build up and move forward again. And with just a little bit at a time. Again, patience, consistency, it's so vital and key. And every dog's different, which is why I can't give you an exact one size fits all, because it doesn't work. And so you have to understand that theory, know where you can do it. So if you're having success in a distractionless indoor environment, well, then maybe try a distractionless outdoor environment. Then by a road, but you're really far away and it's a little bit of traffic coming and going, and then slowly build it up. He's challenging here, step back, re-cement that layer, and then we'll slowly build up again. So that, again, it's a very similar answer. Cool, happy with that. We'll stick with two today? We'll stick with two today. I hope you found that helpful. I know there was lots of more overarching theory in those answers, but I do truly believe in my heart that that is more important than me going, okay, cool, let me go and get a dog and I'll show you this thing. Because it might not be the same for your situation, because every dog's different. But if I can help you understand that theory, you can take that and then adapt it and make it fit to your bespoke situation. So I do hope that there was something there that you can draw out to allow you to do that. So we'll see you on the next episode of Femria Canine Training.